So I'm a fan of Wednesdays. I like it, it's midweek. I've still got time to get things done that I need to get done, but we're building up to the weekend now, which is even better than Wednesdays. I am a fan of Wednesdays. What I'm not a fan of is what they've done to Peaky Blinders. So I watched the final 2 episodes last night or yesterday. Now I will say straight away, I don't dislike it. In fact, I love it. To be fair, I'm going to slightly switch what I said initially. I do like it. What I don't like is how they've done it. So the show itself, like I say, is awesome. I've been a massive fan of this show ever since kind of series 1. Episode 2, the pilot episode was a little bit slow, but that's fine. I love the show. The actors in it are awesome. The characters are great. You buy into there's never been a character in there where you're like, they don't fit or they don't work. I think every character has been amazingly placed. But I just get the feeling in this series that they've struggled for ideas. I don't know if it's the same writers. I assume it is, but maybe not. So I'm going to do this without spoilers. So I'm not really going to talk about what happens in the plot and everything else, but just my thoughts on it. So as far as the show goes, I mean, firstly, I have to say about the cinematography and the stylized shooting. Why? The opening scene, with the explosions and it's all slow-mo and stuff. And then there's another scene later on that's slow-mo, and then there's some more slow-mo scenes and some more slow. We don't need it. You're not the slow-mo guys. We don't want you to be the slow-mo guys. There's nothing wrong with the shooting, how it was before. This over-stylized stuff, it's jarring and it takes you out of the immersion. The whole thing about these films, especially these period films, or this historical, I guess, programming, is that you become immersed in that era. Now actually the filming of it and the shooting of it has to represent the era. Yes, there was no recording back then. I'm not saying there was, that's obvious. But it didn't work for me. I was watching it thinking, why that added nothing to the experience. What it did is it took me out of the experience. At no point did I go, oh, that's cool. It just seems a little bit off. I'm watching it on a 4K TV, so I think a lot of people have got 4K TVs now. So everything's very defined. Everything's very, lots of clean lines, lots of vivid colours. But because of that, it stopped looking real. It started looking like a TV programme. I know it is, but it shouldn't look like a TV programme. It should look like a window into that reality. So it just, the shooting of it was a strange artistic choice. I didn't quite understand it. But yeah, as far as the actors go, awesome. Cillian Murphy as the main, as Tommy Shelby, is outstanding. We've got a returning character, just insanely awesome. All the characters, to be fair, everybody in that show is well cast. The characters are well written, well acted. The storylines are solid. I do get the impression, though, in this one is that they were reaching a little bit. And the story was fine, don't get me wrong. I mean, the bad guy in it, the villain of this piece, is very well done. You hate him. You don't like the guy straight from the initial. Well, I say the initial, from the first proper kind of interaction between himself and Tommy. This guy is dangerous. It's written very, very well in that the characters. But I just felt the series was just in second gear all the way. It was a turning over. and it's not to do with the actors at all. You know, it's not the portrayal. It's, and I'm not even saying the writing's lazy as such. I mean, you know, the dialogue's good and everything else. It works very well. But it just seems to be that the storyline never really kicked on from anywhere. I'm a little bit, I'm not, maybe slightly disappointed. I'm not annoyed. I know I kind of have a rant about this stuff and tell everyone how pissed off I am and things. It's not a pissed off moment. I enjoyed it, and I would recommend anybody to watch Peaky Blinders. It's an outstanding programme all the way through. Like I say, season 1 through to the current season. They all are fantastic. And I don't think any of them have been off the pace prior to this one. So I think the bar's been set very, very high. It's an interesting one. When the bar gets set so high on these shows, on these episodic kind of presentations, it is hard for these writers to keep up with their own genius, I guess. But it does beg the question, you know, does changing the writers, I mean, I'm working on the assumption it's the same writer, I could be wrong. But does changing the writers help? Does it hinder a programme? You know, do you want somebody in? Yes, you want somebody who commits and loves it. But, you know, on the same note, what you don't want is somebody who's tired and out of ideas. So, I'm not sure what the deal was with this one, but I just felt that there was something missing, you know? Something wasn't quite there that's been there previously. But, you know, but again, I'm not moaning. I am. But I'm not, because I'm going to recommend this show to everybody. It is phenomenal. A phenomenal set of programmes. For me, they're up there. It's up there in the top 5 kind of episodic programmes of all time. As I say, the writing, the quality of production. Yes, it's over stylized in this latest series, and I hope they fix that for the next one. You know, but yeah, it is good. I am going to have a whinge though about something on it. This is kind of the reason why I'm doing this video, because the video so far has me been going, yeah, it's all right, it's good, go watch it. It's a couple of issues with the camera work and whatnot, but yeah, great show. The ending. Now, I'm going to be careful here because I don't want to give it away. But there is no ending. So, I get, if you're going from one episode to the other, then cliffhangers are great. But I'm really bright. Cliffhangers are fine when, you know, in the middle of a series. Leaving a cliffhanger like they've done, and all these unanswered questions at the end of the series is pointless and ridiculous and stupid and frustrating and annoying. And that's what's this is, you know, we've had this, haven't we, with other shows where you get to the end of a series or even the end of the entire thing and you feel frustrated. So Game of Thrones I won't rewatch because the last series was so bad. It's not even that it was bad, it was just poor. It was just half-arsed shit. I don't want to rewatch any of the other series. And I really enjoyed the other series, all the previous ones. But I don't want to watch it this season. Sorry, not series. I don't want to watch it because I know the ending was such a letdown that it's ruined the entire experience for me. Now, it's not done that with Peaky Blinders as such. It's not quite that extreme. But what it's done is it's left me just frustrated. So it's hard to reflect on the season as a whole because the ending was crap. You know, you have got a successful, strong brand with Peaky Blinders. You don't need to leave us on tenterhooks to come back for the next season. Everybody's coming back for the next season. You don't need to do it. So why? What's the point? And this is the thing. This is I look at it and I go, is it a detachment of the writers and the actual content that they're providing? Are they watching the show and viewing it as a viewer, as a fan? Or are they, are they producing a piece of work like they would do in university? Writers, whatever it is that writers study, to get a good grade. Are they wanting a critic to go, oh yeah, they left it on this, and the anticipation for the next one? It's not how people watch programs. People watch programs for an emotional payoff. It doesn't have to be positive. There can be a negative payoff. Stuff looks dire. People do that. It works. It's acceptable. In fact, that's how it should be. But they haven't done this in this one. There's no emotional payoff. It's just we're all frustrated and going, well, what? And then you sit there going, because you have to then take yourself out of the series. So the frustration doesn't stay within the viewing time. The frustration is now, shit, I've got to wait a year before I find out what happens. Again, this is not a show where there's a danger that people won't return. People will return. It's a loved TV series. People aren't going to not go and watch it. So why do we need to do that? I mean, it jarred me out of the entire series. I keep talking about this thing about being jarred when you're playing a game or you're watching a film, even listening to music, things like that. If something happens which doesn't fit either the narrative or the emotional intent, then you've done it wrong. And I would be, if I was the producers, I don't actually know who gets the final say. Who, if it's done wrong, who bears the brunt? Right. I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know who would take that hit if it's done wrong. But in my eyes, that was done wrong. And again, it ruins it because there's nothing against the cast. Like I said, the script is great. The script is fine. It works all the way through. At no point do you go, oh well, he wouldn't say that, or she wouldn't do that, he wouldn't be there, they wouldn't do that. Just a little bit strange, but there you go. But that's my thoughts on it. We're fortunate actually that we've got the quality of programming that we have. I think we're really, I think we're spoilt with quality TV, so we can afford to be critical or overcritical. But I don't think this one's been picky. You can be nitpicky about these things. There was a couple of scenes where you're like, did that work? But the overall delivers. Great good guys, great bad guys, great people in the sort of the grey kind of middle. Again, nothing against it. The American chick. I don't actually know what the actress's name is. I don't know that she was great, but she's walking into a well-loved, well-oiled, kind of maintained cast that knows what they're doing, that knows their job. So I won't be too harsh on her. She was all right. But yeah, look, I just left unable to reflect and enjoy the series as a whole because of the ending. I don't know. It felt a little bit lazy. It's a bit like Lost, where they just kind of ran out of ideas at the end, so they just went, "Oh, let's make some random shit up." In fact, actually, no. To be fair, it's not that bad. Just the writers seem to not know how to end the show. I'd say I might be completely wrong. I hope I am. But it's a long time to wait now to have a question answered. The problem you've got is that when it gets to the first episode of the next season, we forgot the question. So they're going to answer a question that nobody's asking anymore. Actually, you can do it for a week. That's perfectly acceptable. In fact, that's standard. You know, tune in next week to find out what happens. That's TV gold. That's what they do. Not tune in next year to see what happens. I mean, what? Yeah, look, for me, great show. I would recommend it to everybody, but disappointed in the ending. Not for the writing, not for the story, just for the way it was done. We're getting this a lot now. We're getting this a lot with TVs, programs, and even movies to an extent, to a lot, where that last bit, that last step, that last bit to give you that, you know, and I keep using the phrase, that emotional payoff, gets missed. Game of Thrones dropped the ball, big time. We all know that, it's well documented. I wish I was doing these videos back then. It's out of date, so I can't really rant about it now, but it pisses me off to this day. 10 years of emotional investment by everyone. That's what annoys people. The ending of Game of Thrones wasn't because... Sorry, the reaction to Game of Thrones wasn't because of the ending itself. It's because they didn't service the fans correctly. They just ended it with a fairy tale ending in a non-fairy tale story. It was stupid. Now, as I say, Peaky Blinders, nowhere near that. Not nowhere close to that kind of issue. As I say, it's not the storyline which has dropped. It's just I was just frustrated that they've left us asking questions that we didn't need to ask. You know, it's a bit like the Hobbit movie. I think it was Desolation of Smaug, where he's flying towards Lake Town. You know, death, all this kind of stuff. Great big fuck off dragon. And you're like, here we go. Bang, music. Seen 2 years. It's like, you fuckers, you can't do that. But they did, and people reacted to it. People were like, whoa, you can't do that. What's happening? You know, people stopped critiquing the film. They critiqued the choice at the end of the writers, and that shouldn't be what gets critiqued. It is indirectly, but you know, I want to critique the storyline. I want to critique the character portrayals. I want to critique the moralistic kind of values and issues and choices that characters make in these films and in these TV programs. And I wasn't able to do that. I'm not able to dissect. I mean, I can dissect the story, but I've got a bitter taste in my mouth now because you decided that you want to leave a question open, a major fucking question. You know, but look, for me, I am looking forward to the next series, though. Not just because to answer the question. This series did a very good job of, I think, bringing Tommy Shelby back down to earth, without giving too much away. The guy is basically godlike at the beginning. You know, he's an MP. People love him. He's got the ear of the people. Awesome. I mean, the guy owns fucking Parliament almost. Until he meets somebody who's, I think, smarter than him, more ruthless than him, just better than him in pretty much every way. You know, Tommy's always made he's always got a plan. You know, to quote Hannibal, he loves it when a plan comes together. But he, you know, in this one, it sets him into more adversity than I think he's ever faced before. So the stakes are high, but I don't know, just the ending. I don't want to reflect on the story too much, but and it's difficult anyway without giving it all away. I think this has to be a no spoilers one. It turned a 9 out of 10 show into a 7 out of 10 because of the choice at the end. stupid. But hey, it is what it is. Listen, for me, Peaky Blinders, I'm going to call this a review actually. Let's review this. Peaky Blinders, awesome show. Everybody who hasn't watched it needs to watch it. It is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. No doubt about it. If you haven't watched it, But yeah, it is what it is. But listen, I will be on tonight, guys, so we will catch you later on. I have a day of work ahead, but I'll catch you soon. Later.